The smell of fried onions filled the air long before anyone reached the village square. It was not just any smell. It was the smell of hope, warmth, and happiness. Everyone in Umwaka village knew what that meant. Gladys was cooking again. Children would run toward the aroma with excitement, and even the old men sitting under the mango tree would lift their noses, smile, and say, "Ah, that woman can cook for angels." Gladys was not born rich, nor was she educated, but she had a gift that no one could deny: the magic of her cooking. She could turn ordinary ingredients into something heavenly. When she cooked rice, it wasn't just rice. The taste carried stories of love, patience, and joy. People said her food healed sadness. Travelers who came to Umwaka never forgot her cooking. Even those who couldn't afford to buy her meals would stand nearby, just inhaling the delicious aroma with tears of hunger and joy mixing in their eyes. But Gladys's life wasn't always as sweet as her cooking. She lived alone in a small mud house at the edge of the village. Her husband had left her years ago, running away with another woman in the city. He said he was tired of a wife who couldn't give him modern things. No expensive clothes, no fancy life. But Gladys stayed strong. She raised her only son, Ebuka, by cooking for people. Every morning before sunrise, she would wake up, light her firewood, and start cooking. Sometimes she didn't even have enough money to buy ingredients, but the villagers always helped her. They knew that whenever she cooked, the whole village benefited. One day, news spread that the governor was visiting Umwaka. Everyone became restless. The village head announced there would be a big feast to welcome him. They needed the best cook in the village to handle the food. Every woman with a big pot and confidence rushed to the chief's compound, ready to show off their skills. Gladys went too, quietly, carrying her old spoon and her little basket of spices. The other women laughed at her. "Gladys, what are you doing here?" one of them mocked. "You want to cook for a governor with that old pot of yours?" Gladys smiled gently. "Let the food speak for itself," she said. The chief smiled at her humility and said, "Let everyone cook one dish. The governor's assistants will taste and decide whose food will serve." Each woman began to cook, pounding, stirring, and shouting orders. Gladys found a quiet corner and began to hum softly as she prepared her jollof rice. Her movements were calm, almost graceful. She treated every grain of rice like it was gold. When the tasting time came, the assistants tried every dish. Some were too salty, some lacked flavor, and some looked nice but had no taste. Then they reached Gladys's food. The moment they tasted it, their eyes widened. "This one," one of them said, "this one is perfect." The others nodded eagerly. Gladys was chosen as the official cook for the governor's visit. That night, she knelt beside her bed, tears rolling down her cheeks. "God, I thank you," she whispered. "I may not have much, but I have this gift." The next few days were busy. Gladys worked from morning till night. She prepared everything: rice, soups, grilled fish, and fried plantain. Her food covered the whole square, and people came from nearby villages just to catch a whiff. When the governor finally arrived, the feast began. He took one spoonful of her rice, paused, and looked around. "Who cooked this?" he asked. Everyone pointed to Gladys. The governor smiled and said, "This is the best food I have ever eaten in any village." Gladys's heart nearly burst with joy. The governor asked her to come closer. "From today," he said, You will cook for every government event in this region." The crowd screamed with excitement. Gladys fell to her knees, tears streaming down her face. It was a dream come true. But not everyone was happy. Some women who once laughed at her now burned with jealousy. They whispered behind her back, saying she used charms in her food. Others said she cooked with witchcraft because her food always tasted better than theirs. One of them, Mama Titi, decided to bring her down. She plotted to ruin Gladys's name. One evening, as Gladys prepared food for a big festival, Mama Titi sneaked into her cooking area and poured a little powder into one of the pots. She thought it would make people sick and turn them against Gladys. When the festival started, everyone ate happily, praising Gladys again. But later that night, a few people began to feel weak. They blamed the food. Rumors spread quickly that Gladys had poisoned the village. The chief called her immediately. "Gladys," he said sternly, "people are saying your food made them sick. What do you have to say?" Tears filled her eyes. "I would never harm anyone. I swear by everything I hold dear. I've cooked for this village since I was a girl. Why would I poison my own people?" But some angry villagers shouted, "She is jealous of those who are richer now. She used to be poor, and now she wants everyone to bow to her." Gladys broke down crying. Her son Ebuka rushed to defend her. "My mother is innocent," he shouted. "She doesn't even have money for charms. All she has is her pots and her hands." The chief decided they would wait until morning before passing judgment. That night, as Gladys prayed, something strange happened. Mama Titi couldn't sleep. Her stomach began to turn and her conscience tormented her. She saw visions of fire and snakes in her dreams. By morning, she rushed to the square, crying. "Please, forgive me," she screamed. "It was me. I put something in the food to spoil Gladys's name. I didn't know it would hurt people." The crowd gasped. The chief looked shocked. "You did what?" Mama Titi fell to her knees. "I was jealous," she sobbed. "I couldn't stand seeing her being praised while we mocked her." The chief ordered her to be punished, and he turned to Gladys. "Woman, you have suffered because of lies, but today your name will be cleared. From now on, no one will speak evil of Gladys the cook again." The villagers cheered, and some even cried with shame for doubting her. Gladys, however, didn't boast. She simply smiled through her tears and said, "Let's forgive her. A heart filled with bitterness cannot taste sweetness." That statement stayed in the hearts of many for years. From that day, Gladys became not just the best cook, but also the most respected woman in Umuaka. People traveled from distant towns to taste her food. She trained young girls to cook, teaching them patience, cleanliness, and honesty. When her son Ebuka grew up, he studied food science at the university with a scholarship the governor gave him. Years later, he built a restaurant in the city and named it Mama Gladys Kitchen. Whenever journalists asked about the restaurant's success, Ebuka would smile and say, "My mother taught me that cooking is not just about food, it's about love." Years passed, and Gladys grew old. Her hands became weak, and her eyes dimmed, but her smile never faded. People still visited her small hut to greet her, bringing gifts and flowers. Every festival, they invited her to bless the food before anyone tasted it. One evening, as the sun set behind the hills, Gladys sat outside her hut, watching the smoke rise from the village fires. She smiled, remembering how far she had come, from a mocked woman with a broken pot to a legend whose food united a whole village. When she finally passed away, the entire village mourned her. Bells rang, and every house cooked her favorite meal,
jollof rice and fried plantain to honor her memory. The chief declared that the village square would now be called Gladys Ground, and a small statue of her holding a cooking spoon was built there. Children grew up hearing stories about Gladys, the good village cook, the woman who fed her people with love, forgiveness, and humility. And for generations, her legacy lived on, reminding everyone that no gift is too small, no hand too weak, and no heart too humble to make a difference in the world. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and